Hey everybody, welcome to episode 1 of The Heel Turn. This is our brand new wrestling show, not the same as our old wrestling show, a brand new one. I'm Tyler here with Steven. We are both wrestling fans for quite some time, WWE fans. I have been most of my life. Steven, you have kind of had more of a
Off
in
on
and out,
again relationship.
on
Yeah.
and off relationship with it, but more on now, definitely on now. Although that's
Yeah.
being put to the test a little bit.
Yeah. It's like every time I come in, um, and kind of get sucked back in, they do something to pull me out of it.
You get reminded of why you left.
Well, but it's funny because it's like different things, right?
Yeah,
Like early on, it was just I grew out of it, I guess.
that's
Things
fair. I
got
think
busy.
that's
Also
normal for a
became,
lot of people.
yeah. Plus, it became kind of uncool, I guess. UFC became the popular thing,
Mm,
and and when you're young, you kind of are a little more susceptible to going with the crowds, and then
sure.
you know, COVID happened and brought me right back because it was like, well, no other live sporting type thing on, and then I remembered like why I liked it.
You know what you needed to get back into wrestling was WrestleMania in an empty training center. That's what you needed.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that Edge Randy Orton match that ended on
Well,
top of the semi. That's what did it.
it's funny though because that like I wasn't. We didn't even watch. I don't think we watched the next one live. We did watch Money in the Bank live,
Yeah.
and so it was kind of on and off again. It wasn't until the following Mania where like we really started regularly watching every pay per view.
Yeah, and we now do live watch alongs of every pay per view before even starting this show. So feel free
Yeah.
to join us for that. Subscribe to the channel and like this video and all those things. But every week we'll be coming together to talk some WWE, and we won't be talking AEW or TNA or anything else here because we can only watch so much television in 1 week at a time,
Yes.
and that is going to be limited to the WWE right now and main roster WWE. So that'll be what this show is about. But we're going to come together and talk about decisions made in terms of storytelling, in terms of maybe the business side a little bit, talking about the way that different things are headed, the way that stories are panning out, heading into the next PLE, or the way that a PLE paid off those stories, things like that. This isn't going to be a blow by blow, here's what happened on SmackDown and Raw type of show. So, because if you want to know those things, guess what? SmackDown and Raw are there to watch. There's plenty of videos. Steven's rotating around the
I
screen
clicked the
right now.
wrong button.
But so anyway, today we're just here with a mini episode. And today we want to talk about what happened at the very, very end of SummerSlam Night 2.
That is John Cena. What?
In New Jersey, New York. You know, Steven, up to that point, I thought we got a really nice ending, a really nice cap put on to SummerSlam. You know, John Cena had this one of his best matches, probably his best match in 10 years. Easy.
Oh yeah.
And I think one of his most enjoyable matches ever, quite honestly. So we see Cody Rhodes get the title back. It was a nice moment, all of that. Wouldn't it have just been great, Steven, if it ended right there?
It would have. It was a great night.
You know, you were a big John Cena fan growing up.
I did. I was.
Kind of tell me what was going through your head as a member of the C Nation, kind of seeing him, the old gunslinger, one last time, all that, you know, all that type of thing. Where were you at?
I mean, the match itself was great. It got me in the feels a little bit. I felt the goosebumps or that feeling you get when you're watching like greatness about to end. And I say that just kind of to poke fun at Tyler, who and all the Cena haters out there, and I get it, But Cena had a great match, including some moves like he had never done before.
Yeah. Destroyer
Yeah.
pulled out, all that.
So it was a great moment, and like he lost, but it was fun, and he was back to being a face, and we wanted to cheer him in his last year, and like the heel turn was like a fun moment, but then they didn't do anything worth a damn with it after. And this was Cody and Cena saying like, hey, you know, F you to the Mania match, right? Like we're gonna actually show we can do this.
And they gave him
did.
basically double the time because they went almost 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. Like it was a phenomenal match, and it was a phenomenal night. And the show as a whole was a little bit lower because night 1 was a little bit rougher, but night 2 flew by.
It did. Night 2 was just too overloaded with like no DQ stuff, but other than that, it was a lot of fun. I, as part of the Seen Enough crowd, Steven, I told you while we were doing our watch along that this was like a Rocky IV moment for me. Like
Everybody should change.
I was suddenly pulling for John Cena, and I knew how it was going to end. I think we all did. But it was just this, like, seeing that one last time. I actually wanted Super Cena in that moment. Can't believe I'm saying that, but I did. Because we haven't gotten Super Cena in this run. And you started to wonder if he could even do it to that level. And he can. So that was really insane. And I think it would have been a great way to go off the air. But then we didn't. And you just knew when the camera lingered, the shot lingered on the thank you Cena and all of that while he's in the ring. And then he turns to kind of start walking away.
Yeah.
I think you just knew something was going to happen because Trips had alluded to something, big surprise later in the night earlier on. And Brock Lesnar's music hits.
And sucked the wind right out of my sails.
Yeah, I mean, I went through a whole lot of stuff there because it was the first thing I was feeling was the shock factor. I was like, holy crap. Because it's the last thing we were expecting. Like the only person I was expecting less was Vince McMahon. But then it turned into like, really? Why are we doing this? And we have a bit of those answers, and I want to get your thoughts on it, Steven. So we've learned since that John Cena wanted a Brock Lesnar match in one of his presumably 3 to 4 matches remaining in the 4 months he has left.
Okay. Question there. And this is childhood Steven protecting himself. Yeah. Is there any chance he's Cena, being the big company guy that he is saying it to like protect the company sort of situation? You know what I mean?
I actually buy that he wanted it, and not because of any like ill will towards John Cena or anything. It's just because I don't think the company had any real intention of bringing him back. But like when it's John Cena's retirement tour, you kind of make it happen.
And see, I do think they intended to bring him back. People have been clamoring for a Gunther Lesnar match.
No, I don't think they intended to bring him back right now. I think maybe they were waiting until there was some sort of resolution in the court cases that were going on.
Maybe, but I read something that I think it was from Meltzer that WWE legal cleared Lesnar a month ago.
Okay. And Meltzer should always be taken with a grain of salt. But, yeah, I mean, that's very, very possible. The other thing that I want to throw out there, and I personally think it's a combination of these two things, is that WWE's had sort of a heel turn behind the scenes in terms of where certain appearances are happening with Triple H and other things. And they might be really leaning into that under TKO. The relationships TKO has that are very strong, where one of their events is going to be in the future, and they just don't care. They know they're going to take some heat for it, and they don't care, because the only thing more important than anything else is making a lot of money. And Brock Lesnar sells seats, and Brock Lesnar gets eyes on the screen. What do you think? Do you think it's a combination? Do you think it's,
I mean, I think it's the money thing, like first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
I also think he doesn't care. I mean, I don't know how much he plays a part, how much TKO, but I feel like Triple H is like kind of like Vince in the way that, like, oh, if you're good for business, I'm going to go with it, like morals notwithstanding. And I think his morals were questionable at best. I mean, Triple H over the years has done some questionable things to outright, racist things. I mean, there's the blackface, right? The Nazi crosses on his ring attire for however many years, and now posting with Trump. I mean,
yeah, I don't want to associate him with Nazis, because I don't think that's probably fair.
But you can't use their insignia without having those comparisons, right? So
yeah.
I think it's more to say that, like, I think he doesn't care. It's just he doesn't care, or that's at best, right? Like he's just like
allowed
unaware.
to not care.
Yeah, and he can because he's rich,
and he's just never had to live in that world,
yeah.
right? So yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I think it's a mix of both, and here's why. Because I think if WWE had come to John Cena and was like, "Hey, your next feud is going to be Brock Lesnar," Cena would have said, Cena has the clout to say, not a chance.
Yes.
And he clearly did not.
Makes me feel a certain way about him.
So, and look, Cena's had his moments where he is very vocally said that he still, like Vince McMahon and all these things, right? And before you say your next thing, I just want to clear up real quick that Brock Lesnar is named in the sex trafficking lawsuits against Vince McMahon. He is not a defendant. So I just want to be clear. We're not accusing anything, but he's there. He's named in them, and it's a bad look because it's not something they needed to do, Steven. Go ahead.
No, and that's where I think when you do something like this, you are basically saying, like, it doesn't matter to the defendant, right? Yeah. And to all, like, to women everywhere, kind of. Mm-hmm. That it doesn't matter what is done if it makes us money. And I had to deal with this before with my favorite soccer team. Same situation. 3 days after they didn't, like, he became a free agent, he got charged for rape. So it's a little bit different. But I mean, it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, you support this club, you support WWE, and then they do stuff like this, and like, how much is enough?
Yeah. I totally get where you're coming from. And I agree with you. And this isn't about politics. And I hope nobody's out there, like, thinking that, or just firing away on the keyboard and letting us have it. Because I would hope, I mean, first of all, like, sex trafficking isn't really a political issue. I don't think. Like, last I checked, we should all be united in not being in favor of that. But, and if somebody is accused of something, which Brock isn't, but he's attached to a scenario where someone else is, I think you owe it to people to let it kind of play out. I wrote a piece earlier this week where I said at best this is really disrespectful to the um the victims, right? And the fan base who does care about this.
Yes.
At worst, it's just saying we don't care because we're going to make money. And let's be honest, WWE, since the TKO purchase, merger, whatever, has shown that that's what they're really all about. And more, and it's not like they weren't before, but they're hiding, or they're tossing aside all, pretending to be otherwise. The fact that average fans are getting priced out of events at this point. Like, you can still probably go, like, Steven, if Monday Night Raw came to your town, you could probably go to that if you wanted.
Yeah.
But if WrestleMania came knocking, that'd be hard.
Yeah, it's like a once in a lifetime.
Yep. And it's an investment. Like, if you want to sit floor level, you're talking thousands of dollars for the weekend. On top of that, there's ads everywhere now. The damn tables are sponsored. The one ladder in Money in the Bank was sponsored. Like, everything is sponsored. Pretty soon, like, I'm surprised the crowbar that came out in the Becky Lynch match wasn't sponsored. Like, we're going that direction. And then you see things like this where it's just blatant kind of
cashing in
yeah
to take the page from Money in the Bank.
And just a blatant statement of we don't care. Like, Trips' field trip last week and all of that. And I know mommy-in-law is, a prominent-ish figure running a department that soon to not exist. But, like, you can't say we're not about politics when every chance you get, you're showing that you are. Because the only time you say you're not about it is when you don't want the other half of the country to be upset.
You want to eat your cake and have it too. That's Triple H.
So, I don't know. But back to the Brock Lesnar thing, I don't like it. I know you don't either. And I would love to know what people watching think. Let us know in comments. Are you a fan of Brock Lesnar being back? Do you care? Because I think that's a question, and we'll end on that question, Steven. Like, do we think the WWE Universe cares? Because we do. But
I think there's a good chunk that does, but I think there's a good chunk to a bigger chunk that doesn't. I watched a video of the Lesnar return from the audience perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't tell if they were cheering super loudly. There weren't a lot of claps, but there was loud, like it was loud, or if it was booing. Could not tell.
It was a big pop on Sunday night. Like, you
well,
could
on TV,
tell.
but it could have been.
It could have. But I really think, Steven, that it wasn't even like, yay, Brock Lesnar's back. It was more of a holy shit type of pop. Because it was a massive surprise moment. Like, they brought him in under cover of darkness, middle of the night, hid him from everyone. Like 2-3 people knew about this.
How many people that watch WWE just have no idea about the lawsuit? Because I imagine it's a pretty big chunk.
Or they might know
there's a lot
that,
of people that don't watch any of that stuff.
They might know about the Vince piece of it, and they might know that, Brock is involved somehow, but not exactly what or whatever it is. And I don't want to put things in people's mouths, but I also wonder how many fans are just like, I don't care. Like, I just want to watch wrestling and all that. And I understand that when it's like minor things, but this isn't a minor thing. So I don't know. But let us know what you think in comments. This is just another opportunity to sort of test how much I'm willing to put up with, I guess, as we start a brand new show, Steven. So, we're going to embark on that. But we'd love to hear what you think. Let us know. And we will have full episodes starting next week right here on the channel and on whatever podcast network you prefer. Just look up The Heel Turn there. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Steven. I know you wanted to talk about this some more, so I'm glad we were able to give you that.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next week. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.